Facebook is doing a really good job at vetting and building measurements to get higher quality leads through things like Facebook lead ad forms.
Okay, we are here. We are here. And it's not a lot of people asking about this. So I've got the one and only Travis Thom here with us today. If you guys have been around Facebook ads for real estate in the last, I don't know, decade or so, you've probably run into Travis and his content. So he's loves to contribute. He's always coming from contribution, likes educating agents when it comes to marketing, specifically around Facebook ads. So I love following his content and seeing what he's up to. Always dropping those sometimes pretty obscure little nuggets about getting the best results from Facebook ads. One of them I really appreciated last month, Travis, dropping that SMS verification on the lead form.
Yeah.
That's gold. That's really good, man. I love that. And so he's always adding value to the community. So Travis, welcome back. This is the returning interview. I think from 2023, we're back in 2025. A few things have changed, right? A couple things. I think the landscape is a little bit different than it was a couple years ago. But Travis, why don't you give us a quick, for the people that don't know you, maybe give us a quick 30-second intro of kind of who you are, how'd you get in the industry, and why Facebook? Go for it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So grew up in the real estate industry when I was in my early 20s, had my own independent brokerage, grew that, and fell in love with the marketing side of it, where I then started to market for a lot of home builders, townhouse, new construction developments, and then that kind of spread across the country where I got more clients, where it became something that I was really good at and fell in love with. And from there, then started teaching about it, then became a national speaker on the subject. And then later on, built an ad agency where I actually then got to work directly with Facebook and sit on their advisory board, consulting them on the real estate vertical, and had some input on how Facebook ads and lead ad forms were created and essentially deployed inside of Meta. And then from there, built a software, Walled Garden, Facebook marketing software that simplifies that process. Still run an ad agency, and it's something that we've been doing I've been running ads since 2007, right? So 17, 18 years now that I've been in that space, and it's been my really fun. My ultimate goal is to just make it simplified and help and teach people how to do it better. And if they don't want to learn, then we just do it for them.
I got you. I love it. Love it. So Travis, simple question. It's 2025. We spoke a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
2025. Is it the same game? Has anything changed? Anything significant? What's new in 2025? What should people be focusing on that maybe they didn't pay attention to before? How would you answer that?
So there's some pretty big changes that have taken place. A few different things that have shifted in terms of, I would say, AI, right, has definitely become more prevalent in terms of opportunities to be able to create ad copy, be able to create images, be able to create any kind of ad creative that you may have had to use a third party and outsource that, hire a design team to create, or maybe you didn't have specific types of images at your disposal. So right before we actually jumped on this call, I was in Midjourney. Midjourney is an AI, text to image creation tool, because I was creating some images for an ad that are in Scottsdale, and then another one in Santa Fe. And so I was basically just typing it in, like, luxury home, modern home style in this area. And it is so realistic that you can't tell between, normal photo and AI. And so tools like that, right, that have come into play where you can be able to spin off any kind of ad creative really quickly and then throw that image into something like Canva, right? And then drop text on that or drop it into an actual template and change some of the text on there that's going to be for an open house or whatever it might be, or use a tool like 𝐿 HeyGen is a tool where you can have image to video type of AI, where you give it an image, a static image, let's say a house in Scottsdale, and then tell HeyGen, camera pan left to right, right, with slow, smooth pan,
Oh, wow.
focus on the house. And then it'll basically turn into what looks like almost drone footage, right, of turning
Yeah.
that actual static image into a video image. And now you've got a little video creative to work with. So there's, opportunities to be able to actually move faster and be more creative without necessarily having to have a high technical skill set, right? Or be a technologist. These no code type of tools that are AI that are just text prompts. And so becoming a prompt engineer, someone that understands how to simplify what they want as far as an output, saying, I want a $300,000 style type of home in Western Ohio, right? In the spring. Perfect. It's going to give you multiple of those. Or I want a drone shot, aerial image of homes in Colorado, and it's going to give you some of those that then you can leverage and use and avoid copywriting, avoid using other agents' photos or images from the MLS. And it gives it a little bit more of a creative appeal that is going to be something a little bit different and fresh that is not stock photos. I see a lot of stock photos, in the Facebook, Instagram world. I was, the other day thinking, how many people have seen the same stock image,
Might have,
right?
right? 100%.
Again and again. And there's one that I have in particular. It's like this home that was like a blue door. And it's, I mean, you've probably seen it, everyone's seen it, I think, probably over 1,000 times. But those stock images, they get ignored, right?
Yeah.
People want something more realistic. So AI is really come into play. AI with ChatGPT and copywriting, being able to take your website URL, drop in the ChatGPT, and say, based on the voice and tone and services that I offer on my website, create 3 lead generation ad campaigns that you would see that would be hyper relevant to my website, right? And boom, boom, boom.
So,
Just drop those out.
And Travis, because those are true. The image creation has always been a pain. If you're making ads, right, as an agent, very popular ads include images of homes, right? And that's a huge. If AI can help you with that, that's huge. On the copy side, though, being real question: do you find that the AI generated copy it can get you as good or better results than copy made from people? Because a year ago, year and a half ago, it was questionable, right? I
Right.
haven't tried it recently, but I'm like, you would get some of these, AI sounding,
Right.
titles, AI sounding copy. You're like, maybe
Yeah.
it's gotten way better, But have you seen it really move the needle, or is it more because a year and a half ago it was a novelty? It was kind of a
Right.
parlor trick. It was cute, but I wasn't seeing people getting results with it at scale. Do you think it's
Right.
come around to that? Are you guys getting some good results with AI generated copy specifically?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, right now I have a campaign at the ad agency. We're spending
Mhm.
45,000 a month
Oh
on
wow!
this ad campaign, and all of it is AI copy
Oh
and
wow! Holy
AI.
cow!
And we were able to reduce the it's for a software company, so we were able to reduce the cost per acquisition by 83% and increase the lead volume by 43%. So AI copy really, it does go back to who is the author that's writing the prompt. And it used
Gotcha.
to be very kind of like vague, right? You would go in and you say, write me 3 Facebook ads for real estate. Well, it doesn't really have enough context in that kind of
Yeah,
prompt, right? Well,
100%.
so if you say, I want you to write 3 Facebook ads with the target audience being homeowners that are looking to downsize in this specific area of Scottsdale, that are in these certain life stages. Use a voice and tone that is persuasive, unique, giving a little bit more context, right?
Yeah.
So there is some effort into the prompt engineering of creating those, but also if you
Gotcha.
can feed it information. So just to kind of give you an example, I was on a call with some mortgage brokers and a title company earlier this week, and they were talking about this loan program that they wanted to market, and it was offering, it was like a rent rewards program, where like based on how much you pay in rent a year, you get 10% that goes towards a down payment of a home, kind of thing. A great program that just came out. So I said, well, do you have any other, like a one sheet flyer PDF on that? Like, yeah, we do. They sent it to me in the chat. I got it. I dropped it in the chat GPT, right, as an attachment. And I said, create a Facebook ad for this, targeting people in this
Oh,
area,
wow.
right, based on on everything that you see here.
That's
The
killer.
target audience are renters that want to buy a home but may not have been able to because of financial restrictions, income, all these different kind of factors. And it spit out in the first round some really good ad copy
Yeah.
and sent it to them, and they're like, "This is great." And so then having a conversation with ChatGPT, for example, so you continue that and say, "These are great. How give me ad creative that would put on the sorry, give me ad copy I would put on the ad creative that is 6 words or less." And
I
then it,
gotcha. For the text on the images, like that,
the text on the
on
images,
the,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, then it starts to kind of summarize it and be a little bit, more succinct, and really just playing with it in getting those responses. So I think a lot of people might jump into tools like Perplexity or, um,
Or
ChatGPT,
Claude, right?
right, or
Claude.
Claude, and they just say, write an ad for real estate, write an ad for this.
Gotcha.
You got to massage it a little bit more, but there's a tremendous amount of tools out there. The daily ones that I use are ChatGPT, Midjourney, HeyGen, Submagic. Submagic is a video editing tool where I can upload like a short form video under 60 seconds, and then it's going to add captions, the subtitles. It's going to add automatically B-roll footage,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
and it's going to add like transitions. I mean, something that would normally take an hour or two for someone to do, it does it typically in 60 seconds. And then now
Love
you've got
that.
this great short clip video editing tool. I mean, there's as you know, there's hundreds of them, thousands of
Yeah.
different AI tools out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's one of the differences. The other differences are that Facebook is doing a really good job at vetting and building measurements to get higher quality leads through
Hmm.
things like Facebook lead ad forms. And as you mentioned, in the beginning, one of them that I had created some content around was that opt-in button, right? For
Yeah.
basic saying,
Can,
"Hey,
can we
I'm going to
explain what
verify."
I might have been a little bit too obscure with that. Can you explain for the audience kind of what that even means? I realize maybe people don't have no idea what I just said. What is that, and why do you think it helps increase lead quality?
So yeah, to clarify what that is so when someone goes through a Facebook lead ad form, there is an option where you as the Facebook ad media buyer, as the ad manager, the person creating the actual ad campaign on the lead ad form, when you're creating it, you can click a little button that says you want to have that lead verify their phone number, and so they'll get an SMS text message, right? The lead, the prospect will, as they're going through it, that says verify their phone number, and they'll get a code that they have to type back in the lead ad form, a short little code via text that they got to basically opt in to say, I received this and I'm verifying my phone number, and then they're opting in. It's just rolling out, right? So it's not in everybody's ad account yet, but it's a great way to make sure that someone has the right phone number. Because if they don't receive that code and they don't type it in, they can't go through the lead form. Therefore, they don't become a lead, and it's not going to be an additional cost to you, and you're not going to receive that lead, and they're not going to get the lead magnet or whatever you're offering on the other side. So that's one that I was using for some clients in Florida, where we were really focused on getting higher quality leads, and we did two things at once: sending the leads through a lead ad form, that they had to verify via SMS text, and then two, that they would simultaneously also get routed over to over to Facebook Messenger. And Facebook Messenger would have a mirrored conversation of like the lead form, auto filling out the information. So they would get a message via Messenger, and then the sales team at that brokerage could actually go into Facebook Messenger and communicate with them via Messenger. If they didn't communicate via phone, they at least had that one-to-one, zero friction type of conversation via Messenger, from Facebook Business Messenger to that person's personal profile on Facebook, where they could friend them, have a conversation. So there's different ways that Meta has deployed being able to get higher quality leads, and they're working hard on building multiple different types of features and tools inside of the ad manager. One of the other ones that's really cool that is almost reached a full rollout across all ad accounts is the opportunity to be able to have a phone number or multiple, up to 100 different phone numbers that you register with Meta by just typing it in. And this is inside the Facebook Ad Manager. When you go to create a lead form, you're going to say, like, this is the phone number I'm going to be using to call and reach out to this lead when it becomes a lead. And what that does is that it will notify that person that becomes a lead. So let's say you become a lead, you go through the lead form. My phone number has been registered inside the Ad Manager with Meta. I'm calling you. It will tell you on your caller ID, it's Travis Thom from Walled Garden, right? Or Travis Thom from OEM. It'll basically say the page name, the basic business page name, and who it is that's calling. And it will then do its best to call also through Messenger to connect as well. Gotcha. So it creates a little bit of less friction, more transparency, so they know who's communicating. There's multiple different things that have been rolled out over the past, I'd say, 2 years, but they're also seeing higher quality audiences that are being deployed in Facebook's, machine learning, their artificial intelligence that they've done is becoming better and better, which is called Advantage Plus. They've got 5 or 6 different AI tools and machine learning in the background that they build. But Advantage Plus is
gotcha. Advantage Plus targeting, right? For the targeting aspect of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's a mistake that I see a lot is people are using too many interests. Where they're typing in 7 to 12 different targeting interests to go after individuals. And what that does now is it's too narrow of a scope, where these machine learning and Facebook says, hey, you're trying to tell us to go after all of these different interests, and we're too big of a machine. We need more data. Gotcha. So you're restricting us.
You're too narrow. It's almost like a previous, like in another world, another life. A few years ago, that was useful, right? Like the over targeting and putting a lot of information. It was because the tools weren't that developed. From what you're saying, you kind of have to let it cook, right? It is good enough to where it'll figure out on behavior and on interactions who the right person. Like, just let it kind of do its thing. Right? That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. It's analyzing. What Meta's done the past several years is they scan your website, they scan your ad copy, they scan the ad creative, they will watch the video. When they say they, it's basically AI, right? Bots that they have that basically say, like, we've got a 2-minute video, we're going to read everything and look at the metadata in that video. If it was an image of me, they'd say it's a man sitting in a chair behind a poster, blue wall, and has a beard, right? So like it picks up on all that metadata. So having ad copy and ad creative that speaks to the actual consumer, or the targeted consumer that you wanted to reach to, is telling the algorithm who to target. Your ad creative is the targeting. So having the ad creative be the targeting, it's really important to also make sure that your website is also, speaks to the same audience, your Facebook business page speaks to that audience. So it looks at all of those different things and does a really good job of finding those prospects. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, and Travis, I know people love this part. They love this question. So here, I'm gonna put it out there. I wouldn't get away without asking this question.
Yeah.
What are the ads that are working the best?
Yeah.
2025. You guys are in the trenches. You're in the front lines. What kind of ads do you see? Getting. Oh, let me allow you to do that. What are the kind of ads you're seeing that are getting great results? Is it buyer? Is it seller? Is it a certain type of ad? What are you seeing some great results with? Go for it.
Yeah, so there's a combination of different ads that we're seeing right now. One of the one that's trending are open house ads. So we're seeing a lot of open house ads work really well, short run, short burst type of ads, right? That are running for almost 10 days, and it could be because open houses are one of the only paths that a buyer can actually see homes without having to sign some sort of an agreement with a realtor, right? In being committed to them. So it's a good way for any agent holding an open house to be able to get in front of a lot of buyer prospects in a short amount of time. But if you can then run an ad to promote that and get those leads right in first, and then follow up with them, develop that kind of communication, it's going to be much better. So let me see if I can share.
Go for it.
My screen here with you and kind of go through some of those because sometimes it's better to have some actual.
It is
examples. Yeah, I mean, so kind of ended up on a stat here, right? 81% of recent home sellers were only contacted one agent. So a lot of it is that
awesome.
You've got to fish upstream for anything to really work in today's digital age. Relying just on postcard methods, print marketing, or some just kind of like I'm hoping to meet someone in my sphere. All those can work, but to be able to actually get ahead, you got to build that pipeline, right? Buyers. 73% of recent home buyers are only interviewed by one agent. So it really is who's first to bat as much as possible. And not just who's first to bat, but being able to actually capture a prospect, a buyer or seller during their home search before they actually get to a decision phase, right? We know that about 30 to 40% of most leads that are buyers are actually sellers. Right.
Gotcha.
So if I'm running like promoting a listing and I get, I'd say 25, leads from there, about 30% of those are going to be people that actually own a home that are looking to then also gotcha. Buy.
Yeah. And that's always been my belief. The best seller lead generation is buyer focused lead generation, because every seller is a buyer. If you think about it, every seller is a buyer. No one wakes up wanting to sell their home. People want the new home. That is always right. The entry level, the key motivation. So not surprising to me, but I think it matters, right? That when you have a buyer focused ad, you're not just getting a bunch of renters. I think I don't think that's correct. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, and one of the key things to ask on any of these types of ads, one of the key questions to always ask to turn it into a seller lead generation kind of ad is, do you currently own a home? Yeah. In that one question, do you currently own a home? So like this open house ad right here, people clicking through it, they click on this, turns into a lead ad form, get name, email, phone number, and do you currently own a home? Right? They'll type in yes, they'll type in no.
Simple question.
Right? Simple question. Yeah. If they say yes, great, we got a seller lead. A lot of people think, okay, I need to do seller lead generation. I need to run a seller guide or home valuation. A lot of those can produce good seller leads. It's typically lower volume, higher cost per lead, and
that's that you just said it. Lower volume, higher cost, which means agents tend to stick with it less. So so you're generating a lead that's harder to generate, and you're giving it less time to bake. Yeah. It's not a recipe for success in that. So I like the buyer focused lead generation. I once ran an experiment. I ran this with my team, right? Because we work a lot of Facebook leads all over the country. I asked them, track it for 1 month. Track it, because they would see the information come from the lead, whether they owned a home or not. I want you to tell me, of 100 buyer leads, how many are coming in answering yes to that question. Again, this is not a conversion stat. It's just literally a marketing stat, just from my own. The number came back, Travis, and I didn't want to publish it. People would not believe it. Like, people are not going to believe this. It was 12 different markets all over the country for a month, over 50%, like 50
Oh,
point
wow.
something percent. I'm like, if I publish this, I'm going to lose credit. People I'm not going to believe it, right?
Right.
They're just not.
Right.
It's a much higher number than we're normally led to believe. Self-identified, right? Clicking the
Yep.
button and just moving toward the leads. Anyways, I
Love that.
interrupted you, but I'm like, that is a real number. Like, that
Yeah.
is, I think 30, 40% is probably going to be an average, but I've seen it as high as 50% for a lot of markets.
I love that. And you're so right, because a lot of agents think, okay, if I need to generate listings, I need to have seller focused ads. My seller focused ads have to be offering something directly to just a homeowner. Well, typically at that phase where someone's looking at possibly a home valuation ads, then they can work. Seller guides that can work, but that person has already moved on to the later stage, typically, where they
Yeah.
may be a couple weeks, right, or maybe a month away from listing their home, and by then, most likely they've already identified an agent, had communication with them. They're just going into those final decision stages of like who to work with. So to fish upstream further up, right, when they're still kind of in that, I'm a homeowner that is looking to buy, I need to identify a home where I'm going to go before I actually sell. During the thought process of being a buyer first, seller second. So those buyer focused ads allows you to be a bit more competitive and to get seller leads at a much lower cost, right?
Yes, 100%.
So
100%.
that's where I think the strategy lies into like open house ads like this, list of home ads that still work really well, which is
Love that.
offering a certain price range in a certain area, right? What does $200,000 buy you in Oakland County? Right? And then they go through that process. Or
Yeah.
if you're looking at people that are kind of creative is focused more on one single level homes, at a certain square footage, right? Or all the best homes to downsize into, starting at whatever language it might be. So there's different ways to position list of homes. Like in the Southwest, a lot of that is going to be focused in the summer months, more seasonally, on see all the homes with pools.
Yeah.
Right.
Big one.
Things that are a little bit more of like an amenity that speak to some subset of buyers focused. I really want a backyard with a pool. Different ways to.
And that's really hard to get on the search engines, by the way. Like, try looking for
Yeah.
homes with a pool on Zillow. Like, give it a shot. Or
Right.
or I don't know, mother-in-law apartments. There's certain features that just don't. There's just no way to search for them, right? You got to go kind of go one by one. Even in today's age, got to go one by one. And offering a home, again, you got to know your audience too. You got to really know what they're looking
Yeah.
for, because in my neck of the woods up in Seattle, I get a lot of people looking for like a mother-in-law apartment. And there was a field in the MLS for that. You know how many agents filled it out accurately? Zero, right? So supposedly the data was there, not really there. I would get a lot of traction by offering a list. This is before I didn't do this on Facebook. This is an older school, but the same principle applies. I would offer a list of homes with mother-in-law apartments, right? High cost of living area that was useful for guests, for family, for Airbnb or whatever. People wanted to know that, right? So find something that's interesting, that's not easy to get. You've curated the list, you've adding a lot of value, put it out there.
Yep, exactly. And it also speaks to the certain clientele that you want to work with. So if you're focused on, hey, I want to start to get some clients in a specific market or neighborhood, and I want to get some homes or sell some homes or be in a price range of clientele that are maybe at the 700,000 level, right? You would say, see all the homes starting at $700,000, and who's going to click on that, right? Are those individuals? Or you can flip the script a little bit more and speak to the actual income and say, what does $250,000 income buy you in X area? So people are going to see the ad and go, yeah, actually, I make $250,000. What homes can I buy? right? I'm not pre-approved yet, but I know my income, right? I want to go through that process and see. So you can position the list of homes in multiple different ways. It's really a pretty versatile way. And again, asking, do you currently own a home, right? And then they're going to say yes or
Key
no.
question. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're only gonna get 2 or 3 questions in there, that's number one. That's always number one. Yeah.
that's always number one. Yeah, because I mean, the way that you can then get those leads and follow up and respond is going to pivot the conversation to being an opportunity to offer then a home valuation or a market update or something else, a list of open houses, something that's going to provide more value to them. That's going to get you in the
Yeah.
door for a conversation like
I
this.
really liked, and on the conversion side, we could, when we're talking to someone that was a potential buyer seller, because they never say that, right? They're not asking you for help
Yeah,
listing their home. They're not in reality, but neither do the home valuation leads, by the way. They're also not asking you for help selling their home. But
right.
it would always like shoehorn into the conversation. We would add value by helping them manage. Like, should I sell first or should I buy first? And
Yeah,
how can I navigate moving to, because you might be in an area, this is common a few years ago, very low inventory, right? Ultra low inventory situation. You're going to
right.
sell your home in 5 minutes, but yeah, but when am I going to buy the next one? Like, you could
Yeah,
offer value because they're thinking about that objection. They're thinking about that's holding them back. That's a concern. It's an anxiety. If you have that information there, hey, you can work that as a value add. Hey, and we always help our clients navigate the transition because it's not easy because of this,
yeah.
because of that, right? So yeah, it's always all that is ammunition to have a much, much more valuable, a much better conversation.
Exactly. Right. And that's where the rubber meets the road is that post acquisition of a lead, the conversation and where that goes, because you are focused on more on consulting and advising and providing value versus trying to disqualify them, because a lot of these leads are trying to then disqualify you before you can then qualify them. So if you are then providing value, building rapport, it's going to then dismantle any kind of disqualification framework that they might have that they're subconsciously in their brain, that promotes you to being that
100%.
first at bat.
And that's why I like that picture behind you, the tofu, mofu, lofu.
Yes.
You have to treat all leads as if they're tofu. Like, well,
Yes.
top of funnel. I mean, let me define that: top of
Yeah.
funnel, middle of funnel, low funnel, whatever.
Yeah. But
Um,
bottom of the funnel. Yeah.
that the typical agent is qualifying to see if you're bottom of funnel.
Right.
That's the classic script, is trying to find out if they're bottom of funnel, and if they're
Right.
not, the lead can feel disqualified. That's not a useful approach. I've proved it. I used to all my whole team used to use that script, right? Trying to find the now business out of
Yeah.
Facebook leads. That stopped working a few years ago. It was much less effective. Savvier consumer, they're used to it. They know. I mean, whatever reason it is, it stopped working. Now we treat everyone as if they're top of funnel, and we
Yeah.
love working with top of funnel because that's how we can add the most value. Oh, really? Yeah, let me show you how. Like
Right.
100%. Otherwise, you're not even going to get your foot in the door, right? It's just
Right.
not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. The mindset should be for anyone running any kind of digital media ads, Facebook and Instagram ads, is that, especially if you're doing lead generation, is that you're building um, your own private pond to fish out of. And that may be something that you fish out of a year from now, right? And catch a really good, fish. Or that, it happens in 3 weeks from now. But the more people you have in there and the more that you continue to feed that, right, private pond, they're going to get bigger. There's going to be more opportunities, and over time, you're going to be able to win those opportunities. And so, having that gives you something that is your private pond. That's no one else's, right? You worked hard to get those leads. Other people are trying to probably get them as well. I bet that one person that you got is in maybe 2 or 3 other CRMs, but those people are pretty bad, right, at nurturing them. So when we talk about top of funnel is, all right, they're at the very top of the funnel, and our ad is top of funnel, right? A lead generation ad offering a list of homes is top of funnel marketing, pulling that lead in. That middle of funnel is you nurturing them. And it used to be, 5, 8, 10 years ago, more of a very linear, straight down funnel in shorter. Life has gotten a little bit more complicated and complex. Things are pulling people in different directions. So now it's more of like a sideways tornado, right?
I
Where
like that sideways tornado. Ooh, love
right,
it.
because they're going through these life cycles, they're going through these
Yeah.
different things, everything, the consumer life cycle is stretched out. So you got top of funnel, they're coming in, they're getting a phone call, they're getting a text. A couple of weeks later they see a retargeting ad from you, right? You're in a recent stat came out that said you really need to be in front of people 21 different times for them
Wow.
to be able to have a good memory recall of your brand and then turn into and convert as a client. So 21 different touch points, right? And I think it was something like 15 years ago, it was 7. So now it's 21, right? So 21 digital different touch points, right? That's text, phone, ads, emails, seeing your real estate sign, seeing an open house one, being invited to some sort of event. All of that contributes to nurturing that middle of funnel, so that bottom of funnel is warmer and shorter, and you've built that relationship over time, right? So everyone is running ads. You're playing the long game. um, I mean, I'm always surprised because I'll have prospects that I've generated 4 or 5 years ago that I'll jump on a call with and say, "Hey, watched you for years. Thank you so much for your content. I got this last email from you," or the reply to an email that I sent 2 years ago.
Oh,
Right? They
wow.
went
Holy cow.
searching. Right? They were first a lead that came through something that they downloaded and went through, and then they're replying to an email. Even though I sent them an email like maybe a week ago, they're replying to an email from 2 years ago because they searched and found that one email. They replied back and set up a call to become a client. So you sometimes feel like you're throwing a lot of things in the dark. You're generating some leads. They're not responding 6 weeks, 6 months, right? Later. It's a numbers game. It's statistics. It's consistency. It's playing the long game. Build that pipeline, right? Continue it. Facebook ads are not the end all be all silver bullet. They're a contribution of multiple different streams that are coming into your business. This is one that can work really well if you work it, but you also have to be patient with it, right?
100%. So let's look at this one. The just sold. One of my favorite scripts is about just sold listings. So what's this ad focusing on?
So this is focusing on the strategy of that. Let's say that a property just sold. Maybe it might be a property that you sold or someone else sold, right? So this lends it to be pretty flexible and open to where it's not dependent on your actual production. And you're going to be running because you can pull up any kind of neighborhood and pull up how many properties sold, which ones sold, identify that. So you're marketing that. If you get permission from someone that actually you can show the photo, if it's your property, great, right? Show that photo just sold. This puts a more spin on that little bit of FOMO where there's this fear of missing out of like, well, I want to know what it sold for. My neighbor's house personally just sold. The person's going to be moving in this weekend, and I'm excited to learn what it sold for, right? So I want to know, like, how does that impact my value? It's human psychology. We all want to know. So this is a good way to then get them in, and then you can send them to a case study of how you sold that property, right? A blog article, like we did drone photography, and we did virtual staging, and we sent out emails, ran Facebook ads for it, and this is what we ended up selling the property for. We sold 25,000 over a list, whatever it might be. You can turn it into a case study about how you sold the home, because this is appealing to homeowners. You want to tell the story of how you market yourself, and this is a good way to display that information, and then tell them, right, or have another opportunity to click on a button that takes them to a home valuation. right? Request a home valuation. Or if they didn't, you can follow up with these leads if it's a lead-ed form, follow up with them via text, via email, and say, hey, thanks so much for checking out the Facebook ad that was talking about how much your neighbor's house sold for. One, do you have any questions about their property, what it sold for, or about market updates? Two, would you like me to send you a custom home valuation so you have an idea of now what your property is worth since this home just sold? How does it affect your home values? Right. So different ways to position it, but this is a really good one.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome. And Travis, we're looking at some really nice creatives. Those images are on point. Is that something you guys that's something you did? Is that something you did through Canva or through Midjourney? Like those are really nice looking images because I think a lot of agents struggle with the creative, right? Like, hey,
Right.
what should it look like? How much is it the image and then the graphics? How do you guys are like these examples? Where they come from?
So this one is a Midjourney image. This
Oh
this was
wow,
yeah, this is Midjourney,
nice, nice.
which 60 seconds. You type in a simple prompt, modern home and this location or area, and then it's gonna then build that
Wow.
prompt for you, right?
And then Canva helped you put in the text in there.
Yes, yeah, and then actually I dropped this into a Canva and
Wow.
I am not a graphic designer by any means, right?
What's
I'm
that matter?
I'm I'm a professional Facebook marketer. I'm pretty good at copywriting. Ad design is not my skill set, so this was a
Gotcha.
template. I just dropped this in, and that's what people should know is that it's really easy to be able to actually get good ad templates with
Got it.
tools, like Canva. You don't have to be a good graphic designer. Um,
Got it.
this is a good one that is generating listing opportunities. Even if
Nice.
you don't have an investor, or if don't have capital yourself to run this kind of campaign, there's companies like Easy Street Offers. There's companies like iList, right? There's a few others out there like that where they actually have investors. You can set up for free, I think, for like Easy Street Offers,
Or
and
Zedelio. I mean, or some of the brokerages have
right,
some now, right? Some of the brokerages have an option like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
where then all your whole front end cost is just building and running an ad. So you can get a cash offer on your home today, no repairs, no showings, right? Just cash. And this allows you to be able to attract homeowners that are looking for, hey, you know what? I was thinking about selling, but I'd like to just skip that hassle, get an offer, or distressed homeowners, right? Or investors that are ready to offload some properties to say, you know what, we had a renter destroy this place. I don't want to be a landlord anymore. Let's just get it
Yeah.
out there. So the multiple different ways to probate, but this is a good way to offer that and get people in, and you can then submit the address to those places, and those places will make multiple bids. You can then submit the offer to them and say, here's offer number one, offer two, offer three, right? If those don't sound good to you, we can put it on the market and list it for a couple months and see if the market's going to do better. So this is a way to be able to get some of those opportunities to flow through there.
I love it. I love it. It's a great one.
Just listed. These are the ones that are kind of the tried and true, right? If you have a
Yeah.
property,
Love it.
it's a little bit more almost authentic in a way where you're actually, it's direct product that you're selling, right? You're not selling a promise or an offer. You're actually taking the actual product, being the home, like the hero of the story, pushing it forward, giving some details. Key things I would do is withhold price, right? I know you can do a carousel ad. Carousel ads are doing really well right now. Add 4 different photos, those crush it. Give 4 bedroom, 4 bath, give a little bit more disclosure of like what it is. That's going to attract the people that are looking for that. So you're going to get more of an ideal type of consumer fit. And that works really well. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. And when you're talking about ads, right? Because the ad is about taking action. And
Right.
I know you guys do a lot of different, actions, whether you mentioned like Messenger or lead forms directly. I saw you guys also do custom landing pages for some clients. How
Right.
do you decide, like
Yeah.
what is the right action to take on some of these ads? Because that's the whole goal. Get them to click a little button in the corner, learn more.
Right.
How do you decide what avenue to take those leads in?
Well, yeah, I think it's one about your end goal, but also what is your time, what is your availability, what do your systems look like in the back end?
Mm.
So if you have the ability to send people to Facebook Messenger, and you can jump on Messenger and reply back, or if you get a team that can do that, right? They can jump
Or you
in.
have an ISA. You say
Or
it,
you've
you don't
got
have
an
to.
ISA,
ISA.
right? If you get an ISA that's teed up to be able to jump in and they've got a script and they're ready and they know, which would be an ideal, type of way to set that up. Great. If you don't, Messenger's probably not going to be the best route sometimes, just because they're going to be waiting there, right? And they're not getting any
Not
kind
a
of
great experience. Not a great
not a good
experience.
experience. They fall off and they'll move to the next person and try and hunt down that information. Lead ads are kind of more of a universal, because it's prioritized by the Facebook algorithm, that you click on the ad and the ad flips around and it's a form, right? We're asking those details and they fill the form and then they get sent and redirected off Facebook or Instagram to whatever, property search website or single property website, or, what blog article, case study, whatever it might be. So Facebook looks at that and prioritizes it. So the conversion rate is pretty high on those. If you're sending people off of Facebook to a landing page, it's a little bit more complex, right? I've seen a lot of people say, do you have a landing page? And I look at it, it's like, no, that is not a landing page, right? You've got a menu above saying, about us, our team, property search, follow us on Facebook. Right? Each one of those is a distraction that, there's typically 18 of them that take people to some other avenue, and then all of a sudden now they clicked on Facebook and they're on Facebook and they click and they say, oh well, there's Aunt Debbie, talking about her new recipe, and they click on that, and then all of a sudden they see a story, and then they're off, right? They are no longer on that path. So one page, one goal for a landing page with no external links, right? It's locked down. You've got typically above the fold asking for key information. It's very clear, it's concise. It's a one page, not multiple. So in that kind of scenario of a landing page, send people to there, you typically want to send people to a landing page if you have the Facebook Pixel or Conversion Pixel API installed and you've got custom events set up. That's where typically a Facebook marketer like me comes into play, where we're setting, embedding that code in those pixels and setting up custom events and custom audiences and setting up conversion campaigns. That's going to be more of a high level approach and a lot more in depth, right, for that. And that's typically if you're running a campaign where you're you got a higher budget to work with, and you're going to be doing that. If you've got a more modest budget, you're talking about maybe spending $300 to $800 a month, lead ed forms all day long.
Gotcha. 100%. Yeah, no, that, and I love the answer, because the real answer is it depends, right? That's like, hey, well, you know what? It depends. Like, who are you? What's your budget? What's your team? What's your goal? All these things, right? Because these different avenues have different purposes, and that, especially that response time. If you're gonna put someone in the chat and take 4 hours to respond to them, that's probably not going to be a great option for you. Or I don't know if you saw this, an analyst that I follow a lot, Mike Del Prete, found that and he did an experiment last summer. This is very recent, right? Last summer, nationwide survey of him and the team, just registering on different people's websites, not even ads, websites. And 40% of the agents sent them nothing, like a big goose egg. And I was kind of shocked by that number, because I think it's kind of worse overused instead of getting better. But if people went to people's websites and they registered, they wanted some information, 40% of agents didn't even bother to send a chat bot after them, like
I
a
see
text
it
or something.
all the time. I see
it
all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not unfortunately not surprising, if you're in the industry. So crazy. Travis, this has been a joy. This has been a lot of fun. Always great talking to someone that knows their stuff. This is great. If people want to continue the conversation, learn more about what you're doing. Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about walled garden. So, why don't we talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah.
That's another tool I think is really awesome. They can save people a ton of time. Tell us about that, and and how people can learn more about walled garden.
Absolutely. Best way to do it is for me to walk you through. I can show you how to build an ad in less than 90 seconds here.
100%.
All right.
Let's go for it.
So this is a Facebook marketing software tool that allows you to be able to create an ad in a very short amount of time. So we've streamlined the process, right, of creating an ad. So I'm going to go through and choose Facebook business page I'm an admin of, choose housing. This one I'm going to do like list of homes. That's the name of the campaign for me. I'm going to choose lead generation, right? It's going to build that Facebook and Instagram lead ad form we talked about there. I can upload either a video or a static image. For me, I'm going to upload this image here that I created in Midjourney. If I wanted to create multiple, I could create a carousel ad, but if I add more. And then here, my headline, I'm going to say, see all the homes in Santa Fe. Now, I've got this AI that we built in here, right, which is our ad wizard. So it'll create 5 different variations of the ad copy, and I can click and choose those, right? So Explorer of Homes in Santa Fe. And what this does is we inject it into the campaign, and so it'll create 5 variations here, 5 variations of the ad copy, so up to 25 different ad variations. And our software will find the winning combination and then dedicate the budget to that winning combo. So let's say, see all the homes starting at, let's say 600 699,000 in Santa Fe, and then short and sweet, right? See all the homes, photos, details, and more, right? So from here, I can hit Ad Wizard again, and then it's going to then build out different variations of the ad copy, right? Discover beautiful homes in Santa Fe, explore stunning homes.
I like discover. Details. Good word.
Discover. Right? Discover, yeah, like an adventure. So you can generate more, right? And say, I don't like those. I can generate more, and it'll redo it for you. But it's creating all these AI variations for you. Now, I'm going to take this hyperlink to this agent's website. I'm going to pretend that I'm Darlene here, right? Let's say that that's my website. That's the destination of where they're going to go after they fill out this form. So we got email, full name, phone number, and then I'm going to say, do you currently own a home? Right? That is our setter lead generation question right there. And I'm also going to ask, when do you plan on buying? Right, the next best question there for some time. So I can do lead routing here. I can say, based on this business page, I already have set up of where I want these leads to go. So I'm gonna say I want these to go to Skip, I want these to go to Tony. So every lead that comes from that business page is going to be sent to Skip and Tony via text, via email, notify them that they received a lead. It's going to run on Facebook and Instagram, 20 different various placements. We auto resize the image and optimize it based on those placements. The AI targeting will read the ad copy, read whatever video or image we have. It'll look at the Facebook business page, it'll look at the destination URL. All the AI will read that. And then we're going to say in the targeting area here, Santa Fe, New Mexico, right? It's going to target buyers and sellers in there, or I can enter a property address as well. And I say 10-day duration. I can scale it to 60 days or anything between. But let's say I want to run this for like 25 days at $10 a day. I can spend more if I want. And I hit agree, hit purchase. The ad is off and running in 5 minutes.
Nice.
Those people see the ad, they click on it, they then become a lead that gets to the destination URL. And in the reports tab, you can see this is one that I ran for 3 days, testing out a few different new features we have. Got 6 leads, $7 per lead, audience of 1,000 people. Everyone in the audience saw the ad. 2 times basically, right? 2,100 people. And do you currently own a home? Yes, yes, no, yes, no, yes, right? So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 set of leads out of 6 here, right? So kind of a 50, right? Almost 50% ratio there. Email, full name, phone number. When do you plan on buying? Soon, 6 months, 1 year, 6 months, soon, not sure. So this is just a super easy way right? To be
I
able
love
to
it.
create an ad campaign, normally, as you know, going through the Facebook Ad Manager, we're going to spend
Not
45
a great.
minutes, right?
Yeah.
And pressing lots of different buttons.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's a pain.
easy way to
It's
do
a
it.
pain. It's a terrible piece of software. I think they want you guys done the work with the agencies. I don't think they want people, actual people, real people, to play around with that thing because you can get yourself into
Yeah,
trouble. And Travis, one quick question, because you run a marketing agency, you created the SaaS for
yeah.
real estate agents. When does someone like what's your ideal client for walled garden versus someone you're going to work with on your agency? Or is that
Yeah.
like the amount of ad spend they've got? Do they have a larger team? Is it a more mature client you go that works their way up to the marketing agency now, or what's the difference there?
That's a good question. So people that typically are going to use walled garden are going to be people that have maybe a more modest budget. They want to do it themselves. They may have their own ad designs, don't, or they just want to upload a photo and promote like a property. They may not have a consistent need for.
I
Um,
gotcha. Like open house and just sold. They want to be more, targeted in their ads. Like, yeah, I don't want to run an ad at this moment, right? I don't
right,
have either the time, the budget, or the inventory to run them
right.
continuously, like on a retainer model.
Exactly. At the advertising agency, we typically have people that are going to be spending, I would say, over 1,500 to 2,000 a month minimum in
Ad
ad
spend.
spend, and we're doing larger funnel campaigns where we've got maybe certain retargeting videos that we're targeting people that have engaged with their website on certain pages and custom lead generation. In there, they're looking at our team to come up with copy, ad creative designs, landing pages, full funnel, large scale campaigns that we're
Got it.
running on a much larger scale typically.
Gotcha. Great. Awesome. I was curious about that. So again, Travis, thank you so much. If people want to reach out, I'm guessing Facebook's a pretty good place to find you. How can
Yeah.
people get in touch with you, with the agency, or with Walled Garden?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, either Facebook and Facebook Messenger. Yeah, it's a good place to find me. Or Walled Garden is 𝐿𝐴𝐥𝐿.com. You can just log in there, sign up. It's a 10-day free trial and $79 a month. Easy way to get started. Running your own kind of ad. Elevated is elevatedrem.com, and there's a place there where you can click to book a consultation and talk to me and my team, and we'll see if we're a good fit to run ads for you.
All right. Awesome. Travis, as always, it's a pleasure. Appreciate you, man. Thanks a bunch.
Gustavo, yes, thank you very much. Good to talk to you.
Okay. Cool. See you. Hopefully not 2 years from now. Maybe sooner. We'll have something
Yes.
more, something interesting to talk about.
Let's
All
make it
right. Thanks,
soon.
man.
Bye.
Bye.